Gary, cold open question.
Yes.
What's your most embarrassing moment that you can share with us?
Oh, most embarrassing moment that I could share you? Man, I mean, well, I guess it is kind of an I broke my baby toe playing basketball with a sock. So like we weren't really playing about it. We were just screwing around with like a little sock, and we were throwing it around the hoop, and I came down wrong on my foot. So I'm thinking that probably a little embarrassing that you break your toe.
How old were you when this happened?
Playing fake basketball. This was 8th grade, so 13, 14 years old. And okay. I hopped around school the next day because I couldn't stand on it. And my mother had to make an appointment for the emergency room. So at school, I was just hopping through school, not standing on it. So I looked like a weird Easter bunny.
I couldn't think of anything before, but now I realized when I was probably in 4th or 5th grade, I got punched in the face by my next door neighbor, Ann Malloy. So I had a black eye, and I had to like cover up that it was like a girl that hit me.
Oh. Yeah, that's embarrassing.
All right, let's get the show started.
Okay.
You guys still there?
We are.
Gary, you going to start the music?
Oh, my God. I did it again, didn't I?
Did what?
I forgot to hit the share. I've been sitting here dancing. I've been playing the music. I just... Sorry, hold on. Let me... Yeah. I had it playing the whole time.
Huh.
And I knew I was going to do that. Technical difficulties all around today. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Wow, this was a rough start to this show. Gary, you may have a new most embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
I've never even heard this part of the song.
Nope, we never got this far.
I wonder if it picks back up. There we go. Tonight on the Brian Lennon Show, we welcome in Greg Novak to discuss the impacts of Ian in Florida. We'll also talk about Tom and Giselle, 2-0, Coolio, Blonde, Dahmer, Hocus Pocus, All Rise for Judge, and hair plugs. All tonight on the Brian Lennon Show podcast. All right. Rough start to the show because I can't, my headphones from Five Below refuse to work. We've addressed this many times. Gary, you were playing the opening music, but only to yourself.
Yep.
And here we are. So, welcome in. What are you drinking, Gary?
Sammy Adams.
Autumn.
This one's just the regular one, but
regular.
It's the variety pack, so I will have a couple different ones.
All right, I've got the Wegmans ginger sparkling water, and we welcome in our special guest, the Eye of the Storm, Greg Novak. Greg, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking my usual iced coffee.
Nice. Now, Greg, you have a very unique background. It looks like you're in a green screen, in front of a green screen.
Actually, I'm not. I'm actually sitting in the dining room in front of my wife's china cabinet. But there's a bamboo.
Oh no! There's what?
A bamboo tree.
But it's, the Fox cameras during the football game where it focuses on the player and everything else blurs out. That's what it looks like.
It does look like he's on location somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Greg, do you want to share your most embarrassing moment with us?
Well, there's a million of them. Trying to think of a good one that I could actually share with you guys.
That's what I was thinking about that when I was thinking of the question. I'm like, there's lots I'm embarrassed about, but not that I would particularly care to share on a podcast.
Well, I've got one. Happened to me in 4th grade too. I didn't get punched in the face by a girl like you did, but wasn't quite that embarrassing. But back when I was in 4th grade, the Summer Olympics were in Los Angeles in 1984, and I'm watching the men's gymnastics, and I'm watching who was it? Bart Connor, was that the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
He used to do like the parallel bars or uneven bars. I don't know what he used to do.
I think he did everything. I think he was like an all-around gymnast.
All right. Well, I'm watching him swing back and forth on the bar and, letting go and grabbing on and, all this stuff. And so I decided that I was going to go in the backyard, and our swing set was kind of low. So I grabbed onto the top bar and I started swinging forth and everything, and got myself going pretty good. And I let go and spun around and fell flat on my face and broke my arm. So
You broke what?
My arm.
Oh, your arm. Okay.
So I found you could do a blur background.
That
must be
what the hell? Where's the button for that?
All right, so go to your video where it says stop video.
Yeah.
Click your arrow button up. Choose virtual background.
I just have video settings or front camera or select a camera.
So on the arrow where it says stop video, you go up. There's nothing there. Select a camera. Nothing.
I'll tell you what. I think I need a new system altogether.
I think so too.
All right. Well,
Invest in as for that for Christmas, you need a new laptop.
okay. All right. Well, let's get started. You two were in the eye of the storm this past week. Gary, you fared better than Greg. We'll start with you. What was your experience? And that was on Wednesday, correct? Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, basically.
Yep. We talked last Tuesday night. You were kind of preparing for the hurricane.
Yes.
Ian.
Yep.
All right. So what was your you did share some videos, which I shared on the Brian Lennon Show Facebook page. Just seemed to be a lot of rain, some wind.
That was it. I mean, we just had that little constant rain that was coming down, and then the wind started picking up. It was funny. Every time I would do a video, I would have it would be really gusty, and then I'd go to do the video, and I'd be like, and then the trees would just rustle a little bit, and I'm like, seriously? And as soon as I shut it off, then all of a sudden the wind would pick back up again, and I'm like, dang it, that would have been a better video to show. But yeah, that was it. I mean, we had nothing. I mean, one of our dead trees up front kind of just tipped over, but we didn't really have anything else. The hole that they started digging for the pool was kind of filled up with water. Other than that, that was pretty much our whole ordeal. We didn't lose power at all, so that was
lucky.
That was one thing we were worried about, was losing the power. So, but we didn't lose any of that. So other than that, yeah, we were all good.
Here. All right, and then so that's in Pinellas Park.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 2 hours south?
About
2 hours south. Now, Greg, where do you live exactly? Like what town?
I live in Cape Coral.
You are in Cape Coral. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
So we got we got so my experience was a little more dramatic than Gary's was. You know, we lost shingles on our roof. We have and Gary, I don't know if you're getting a pool cage on your pool. We have a pool cage on our pool, and we lost just about every screen. Luckily, we didn't lose the pool cage though.
Oh, that's good.
And we have a chain link fence going around the house. So a bunch of trees behind the house fell on the fence and kind of messed that up. But we were lucky. We didn't get any flooding. We're in a good area where we didn't get any flooding. And so it was mostly just wind damage. However, we lost water for about 3 days. Believe it or not, even though it's lit in here, we don't have any electricity. Still, they are saying that possibly by Saturday night we will have power again. So we don't have any electricity. So Gary, not Gary, Brian, I've been taking my cold showers every morning.
Oh, the opposite of what I've been thankful for this week.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that, and I haven't slept in my bed either.
So what are you guys doing without any power?
Well, we have a generator. So we actually, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were here, and my mother-in-law knew this young guy who's an electrician, and he came over and he did what they call backloaded our generator into our circuit box. So it turned on most of the stuff in the house. So we have the lights, we have electrical outlets, but we don't have air conditioning, and we can't use our stove because they use too much electricity. So we do have well, actually now we have 2 generators because you're not supposed to run the generator 24 hours a day. And so my wife decided she was going to buy another one so that we can run it at night while we're sleeping. So to power fans and stuff. So we're surviving. I mean, we're doing a lot better than a lot of people are doing right now.
Now, how close are you to the flooding areas?
Well, I sent you some of those pictures.
Yep.
Those boats that I showed you, 5 or 6 blocks away from us. So to give you an idea where we're at, Matt Lachey and Pine Island. I'm sure you've heard about them on the news. They were wiped out because of the water.
I've heard of Pine Island on the news.
Yeah, Pine Island it's a barrier island. We're about 3 miles away from that. So
okay.
we're about 3 miles. We're about 3 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, but we have like a nature preserve in between us and the water, and a bunch of houses and other businesses. So we didn't get any water, luckily, but we're pretty close.
Now, for both of you, this was really, and more for you, Greg, but this was really your first major hurricane since you guys have moved down to Florida.
Well, actually, we got a lot of damage from Irma here too.
Oh, okay.
That was in 2017, but I mean, this was, as Governor DeSantis said, a once in a 500-year storm. We don't get a lot of Category 4, Category 5 hurricanes. So
yeah, no. But yeah, no, Irma would have been Irma would have been my first one, I guess. Well, you know what? There's been a bunch in Florida, just not really on my side. So like Mandy and all them, they used to get hammered with a bunch of them. So, but yeah, I mean, Irma and this one are the only 2 that were technically coming this way. So
right. So it was interesting, and it was one of those things. I was listening to Gary on the last podcast. He was talking about how last time they were saying Irma was coming at them, so he left and he went over to Jupiter, I think it was, where his and they got hit harder than he did, and I think that's the mindset that a lot of people had here. There's a lot of controversy right now saying, oh, well, they didn't give people enough time to evacuate. We knew about this storm last week. Friday, my wife and I went out with the kids and we were buying supplies for the hurricane. So people had plenty of time to get out of here. But people get complacent. We haven't had a huge storm like this, and people just decided, hey, we're sticking it out. We're going to brave it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how was it actually like during the peak of the hurricane as far as the winds? Were you scared at any point?
The thing is, the last hurricane that we had that came through here, we had a lot of wind. And like I said, this was mostly wind this time. But, we have shutters like Gary was talking about last week. He was putting the shutters on the windows and everything. We have shutters for our windows. But so last storm, all you heard was the wind. All you heard was, things flying around and all this stuff. So I think the last storm was actually a little scarier. This one, we have hurricane windows. We have impact windows. So we could actually see what was going on as we were sitting here in our house. We were sitting in the living room watching the storm out the window. It's scary seeing stuff topple over, seeing stuff flying around, but at least you know what's going on. You're not in the dark about it. The storm didn't let up, and it was a slow moving storm. So we had it all day long. I think it started at like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I think it finally let up around 10 o'clock at night. It was just a slow moving storm.
And it was a massive storm too. It was.
Yeah, it was. It was
the space that it covered on the map was like a giant piece.
Well, yeah, and that was another thing. Everybody's like, well, why didn't people evacuate? Where the hell was everybody going? The storm covered the whole state of Florida.
Well, it was funny watching watching Weather Channel here, and they kept saying showing I-4, everyone leaving Tampa. Driving, I'm like, well, first of all, I-4, that always looks like that. But I was like, whatever. Okay, but they were all heading Orlando. And then what happened is the storm shifted and Orlando got whacked with it. So, yeah, all these people that were leaving here just went and got hit harder somewhere else. And they weren't even by their house now anymore. So, yeah, you just don't.
Now, speaking of the Honorable Governor DeSantis, I was reading an article on Substack today about kind of the insurance crisis, like homeowners insurance crisis in the state of Florida. And I was reading, I guess like the homeowners insurance, the average rate in Florida is probably over $3,000 a year.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, it's all mortgage. It's all in your escrow. So, you don't, unless you're actually sitting there figuring out exactly how much you're paying every month on the insurance.
Right.
But yeah, that's probably about right. That's probably about right.
Because I know in like Pennsylvania, we paid probably roughly $1,000. They're scary in the eye of the storm. We pay roughly $1,000. So I was kind of startled to see like it would be almost 3 times. I'm not good with math. 2 or 3 times what we would pay. Because a lot of people who live in Florida like to tout that they don't pay state income tax, but you're clearly getting taxed in other ways, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say this, and I know Gary's not a big fan, but I will say, I got to give DeSantis credit. Like he had 42,000 like linemen shipped into Florida to work on before the storm even happened. Like he was preparing for it before it even happened. Also down here, like I said, we're not going to get our power back until Saturday. We get our electricity through what's called LCEC. It's the Lee County Electric Co-op. And they buy their power from Florida Power and Light and everything. And they were kind of like waffling on things. And they were saying, oh, well, we don't want outside help. We don't want anybody helping us. And DeSantis basically told them, you're going to get these other companies in there. And they're going to work on this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So kind of stepped in. And he's been down here in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, for most of the time, you know?
Yeah, you shared some pictures with me, Greg. Power lines, like a row of power lines just knocked over in the middle of the road. The traffic lights hanging inches above the street. Some of the pictures remind me of like when you go to log into a website and it says, click every box that has a piece of the traffic light on it. All right.
Yeah, there's there we go. That's just in my neighborhood. I mean, I've seen. I haven't had internet. I haven't had electric. So I haven't seen a lot of photos except on what's on the internet right now because I could get the internet on my phone. Just seeing some pictures of like Fort Myers Beach and like Sanibel Island, they're just destroyed. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Now, are you guys? Well, Gary, you went back to school this week, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then Greg, are you and Anne-Marie working? Like, are you guys back to work?
Yeah, we're working. I worked Friday and Saturday, and she worked Friday and Saturday, and and last night. She was off Sunday night, so she worked last night. Yeah, so we've been back to work. Sometime this week, the nonprofit that I work for, I'm gonna have to do some work with FEMA, like handing out like food and water and stuff. So
right. And what about the kids? Are they back in school yet, or is that?
Oh no, they're off all this week. They're supposed to go back Monday, but that God only knows. You know.
Yeah.
I was telling my still lives up there with in Pennsylvania. You guys get snow days. Our kids get hurricane days, and people laugh when I say that, but it's true. They get days built into the school year.
Yeah.
Because that's what my mother was asking. She goes, "Oh, you're gonna have to make up those days now. You're gonna have to stay longer into the summer." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "They're built in." I'm like, "They're just like like you said. There are snow days. That's what they are." So it's crazy.
Now, has the hurricane influenced any of you? Are you guys going to be moving anytime soon?
No.
No.
Yeah, and you know what, Brian? The sad part is, like, in my mind, I'm like all these other people in Florida. In my mind, I'm like, I just survived probably the nastiest storm that Florida has seen. Why would I ever leave? I know I could. I know I could get through it. Why would I leave?
Exactly. Yep.
So.
All right. Spoken like a true Floridian.
But it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. You move back up north, you got to worry about blizzards. You move out west, you got to worry about tornadoes. So, I mean, no matter where you go, there's no perfect place. You're always going to get hit with some weird phenomenon. So
most times, though, blizzards don't like knock down your house. And
no, blizzards aren't too bad. But, you look at the other alternatives, at least with a hurricane, you have some warning. Tornadoes, you got no warning. I would never move to the West.
No.
Out west, you guys had Chuck last week. Earthquakes. You never know when an earthquake is going to hit.
Nope.
So
yeah. Or if those fires.
You have some.
I mean, like they say, the worst.
Yeah, wildfires.
The worst part of the hurricanes are the storm surges. Other than that, like the wind. I mean, yeah, some of the winds can be really nasty and get up there, but it's that storm surge. That's what you got to watch out for. So that's why you evacuate those certain areas, because they're the ones that are going to get hammered. And as you can see in all those pictures, like, I mean, just that one camera that they had on Fort Myers Beach, and you could watch as the water just kind of started going up. And then they said that camera was like 6 feet high, and all of a sudden it was underwater. So it was just crazy to see that. But oh yeah.
And Greg, you see the people from the power companies like working already in your neighborhood?
They're all over the place, man. They are all over the place. Different power companies from different counties. We went out. Let's see. We're trying to get some a sense of normalcy back in our life, So we're sick of cooking on the grill. So tonight we went out to dinner. We went to the kids wanted to go to Olive Garden, so we went to Olive Garden for dinner. it was open, and so we figured why not. You know, they have a limited menu, but you know,
Got unlimited salad too.
we had the salad was fantastic, man. Salad was good. Yeah, no, we had that, you know, but you know, as we're even when I'm going to work and stuff, you look at the, you know, there's people from all over the country here. It's amazing, you know, and you know, we've got police officers down here directing traffic from Tampa, Miami, places I've never even heard of before. You know, like there's police officers all over the place. Plus, you know, there's also a National Guard presence here right now because as great as people are during these situations, you get looters and people who take advantage of the situation.
Exactly. No, I mean, like I said, we had a few areas here that had no power either. Because I know I had a bunch of friends they lost power for a couple of days, so it was weird. We lost power 4 days after. It was Saturday. It was like it had to be like 1:30 in the morning. All of a sudden, I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh, it got a little warm. Like fans on. I'm looking at my phone buzzing. It's Duke saying, "Oh, we got power outage." I'm like, seriously? I'm like, I made it through an entire storm, winds and all that stuff, and I lose power 3 days later. Oh, it's like serious, but yeah.
All right. Well, I am glad both of you are safe, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know, Greg, you have some damage to the home, but
Hey, listen,
like you're...
you know, the damage can be fixed. The damage can be fixed. Everybody's healthy and safe. And you know, I'm not an overly religious person, but you know, thank God, thank God we got so much. We have such a better situation than so many people down here right now. I mean, we're still going to work. The house is fine. We just have to get the electricity turned back on eventually when they fix those power lines and stuff. It could have been a lot worse. Yeah. You know.
Hey, when Irma came through and I had those few shingles blown off my roof, I got a brand new roof and I needed one too. So it was when that storm was coming through, I was like, all right, just blow a couple shingles off. That's all I need. That's all they'll do. A few shingles and you get a brand new roof. And I'm like, that was it. I had like maybe 4 or 5 shingles that blew off. They were in the yard. The guy came out and I got a brand new roof. I was like, yes, sweet.
But, you know, it's funny. Gary, it's funny you say that because our house is 20 years old. And so
you probably need a new roof, huh?
The roof is 20 years old. So we need a new roof. And we were actually looking into getting like a metal roof.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we're looking to get into getting like solar panels and stuff too, because the electric here is through the roof. And now maybe we won't have to pay for it out of pocket. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe will probably give you a tax break if you put solar panels on the roof.
You know, the thing is, if you could work out a deal with like some of these solar companies where you get a new roof and you get the solar panels and you wind up paying something like $300 and some a month. But right now our electric bill is over $400 a month.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we had a guy come in. They were trying to get us to do the solar as well, but we were like, it was like a kind of a ridiculous amount. I mean, well, if we wanted to pay cash, it was like 15 grand. I was like, like that might be able to pull out or whatever, but just to do if you wanted to just like go through there, whatever it was like 30,000 after so much, but it was going through Duke Energy and all that stuff too. So I'm like, well, let's hold off. I'm like, I just got the new roof on there and everything. So I'm like, we're good for right now. And our bill is not too bad. So, but well, until I get the pool in, then I'll be like, all right, I gotta get the solar in now.
Is that one of the salesmen that you invite into your house to talk to you and then have Shannon kick out?
Well, no, actually, this was Shannon invited them in the house this time, but then I still had to have them kick out because I couldn't. I'm like, no, I can't.
All right. Well, there's some more drama going on in Florida this week. So it was announced today that Tom and Giselle have each hired their own divorce attorneys.
What?
Yeah. Gary, what? No. Greg didn't know. What's the latest, Gary?
I just found out too.
I'm breaking the news to you.
So, well, no. Well, Shannon told me earlier, but I mean, you know, I see the stuff on Facebook all the time, but you never know if it's true. So usually when I'll go on to my sports app and I'll scroll through there. If I don't see anything, then I'm like, all right, Facebook, whatever was a false ad, because I don't know how many times I've seen who was the former Saints coach?
Sean Payton.
I've on Twitter like multiple times I've seen that he was dead. So I figured I'm like all right, I'm just gonna skip this news until I could actually figure it out. But yeah, Shannon texted me. Actually, I was in the bathroom when she texted me, and she said that they hired divorce attorneys. I was like, oh shoot. I'm like, okay. I mean, kind of seen that coming from the beginning of this season when he took those few days off from preseason and from training and all that stuff. So, and she took off to what was it, Costa Rica or something like that, and left him with the kids.
Right.
So I was like, oh yeah, this ain't looking good.
Well, neither of them are going to be hurting financially throughout the divorce. So,
if anything, she probably makes more money than him. So
yeah, that's true.
Now, you never like to see a couple split up. But my question, Gary, for you is, do you think the breakup is good for Brady and the Bucs? You think he's going to be able to be free of that distraction that is Giselle?
I don't know if he's ever really. I mean, I don't think he can be distracted, really, to tell you the truth. I mean, because they've had their little spats before, and he was fine, especially when she used to go off on some of his players because they couldn't catch a ball in the Super Bowl. So, but I don't think it'll affect him as much as people think it's going to affect him.
Well, especially if he's the one who initiated the divorce, he might be happy that he's getting out of this. He might play better this year. You never know.
Yeah, because they haven't said if it was a mutual thing or who went out and got the lawyers first. So yeah, you never know. Could have been him. He's just like, all right, she wants to be like this. I'm just gonna, because really his love is football. So
his first love is football.
It really is. Crap. He
Never mind kids. Just
knocked up the one girl, took off when she was pregnant, and he kept playing, and then got married to Giselle. Has 2 kids. Kept going, kept saying, "Okay, I'm going to play for this," and she kept be like, "Well, okay, you got to slow down at some point," and he's just still going. Hey, I'd say play till you can't play anymore.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here in the next few weeks how Brady and the Bucs play. They lost. Was that Sunday night?
Yeah.
And I guess it turned into a shootout. Staying in Florida, another Florida man. Tua.
Yep.
Can you guys say his name?
I have to look at it. Tua Tagovailoa. Hold on. Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. There we go.
He's Italian. Nice.
Hey, Tua Tagovailoa.
Hey, Medici. Well, he was hurt Thursday night. I wrote about it on my Substack, thebrianlennonshow.substack.com. Were you guys watching the game when that happened? Have you seen it since? What's your initial reaction to what happened?
I've seen photo. First of all, he shouldn't have even been playing Thursday night, because when they were showing the stuff from Sunday's game where he got up and couldn't even walk, then he was wobbling, and they kept him in the game, and then Thursday I seen the hit, and then I thought, because I only seen the picture, so I thought he hurt his hand because his hands were all like crooked. Screwed. I'm like, oh man, he busted up his hand. And then that's when they were saying, no, it was just the way he got hit. He just he lost function, and all of his brain just went kaput for a second there. So, but I guess he's not playing this week.
We don't know yet.
No, he's been ruled out.
Yeah, he's already been ruled out.
I know that he. I obviously didn't see the game. I had no electricity, but.
I forgot about that. Sorry, Greg.
But that's right. I have seen the video on YouTube, and it was pretty bad. That's some kind of posturing from a neurological response to a head trauma. The whole thing with the hip. So I did see that, but I also saw that he wrote a letter or he made some kind of statement on
Mhm.
Twitter or something like that, how thankful he was, and he got out of the hospital on Friday, and I can't wait to get back and play. You know, look, if that was me, I mean, yeah, he's making money, but you know, is it really worth it at that point? You know?
Exactly. Especially being that young too. You still got a lot of playing time. You don't want to be all of a sudden now like, all right, you're done now. Can't play anymore because
right.
But yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was a big. I've always been a big Cowboys fan, and you know that was the reason Aikman wound up leaving, because he kept getting concussions.
Mhm.
You know, but
And Steve Young
was actually.
Yep.
But he was much further in his career than Tua is. You know.
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah. That's it. Yeah. You gotta, at this point, you want to play, you want your team to win, but you also want to be able to keep going and playing. If you keep getting all these concussions, you're gonna be knocked out of the game a lot earlier than you think you're gonna be.
And then I know you didn't see it, Greg, because you don't have electricity, but during the Packers Patriots game,
keep rubbing it in.
Brian Hoyer was knocked out
Mm-hmm.
with a concussion. And then on Saturday, one of the LSU players on the opening kickoff was carted off
Oh yeah, you got
with another scary injury. Do you guys ever think about the morality and ethical aspect of watching football? Because to me, it's getting harder and harder. Having seen what's happened to players I grew up watching and what happens to them at the end of their careers, or even during their careers, shortly after their playing days, does it begin to weigh on you as far as like?
You know, it's funny. You think back, like watching it now, yeah, it seems like think back to the old, watching like old, like 70s and like 80s football. I mean, those guys were pounding the ever-loving hell out of one another. I mean, worse than what it is today. Today, it seems like it did get a little bit softer where, okay, yeah, you know, there's, you know, you can't hit the quarterback in a certain way now, or you'll get penalized, or you can't do this. But I mean, there's always that risk of injury in football because it's a very physical sport. So, I mean, I don't think it's as brutal as it was back in the day. It's a lot softer now. It's just that some of these guys are just a little bit more fragile. So,
see, I would disagree though, because the players today are so much faster and stronger.
Well,
So I think the force of the hits is a lot more than they were generating in 1975, or even I say this, if you go back and watch a game from 1994, it's like slow motion.
right, but not only that, you know, and I'm throwing this out there for discussion too, if you don't mind. You know, they have all this protective equipment, right? But if you're a defender and you're coming at somebody like that quarterback and you're coming full speed, like you said, these athletes are bigger and faster now. All of that equipment that they're wearing, that's a weapon.
yeah.
So they're hit, even though that other person's wearing all that equipment, the person who's hitting them is wearing all that equipment too. And they're adding pounds to the force that they're putting on that hit, you know? So
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if you look at the sack on Thursday night with Tua, the player that tackles him or sacks him, he's actually sitting on the grass, like, or on the turf. He's not even standing up. He's literally sitting and pulls him down.
right.
And just with that force, knocks him into, Friday morning.
Yeah. Now, I did notice on Sunday, after this whole Tua thing, they were like, Hoyer didn't even look like that hit was that bad. But they were like, all of a sudden now it's like, oh, okay, we got to be more cautious now. Let's take him back. And because there was a couple other guys. There was another, the defense guy in the Green Bay. Same thing. They took him out too. And I mean, he was walking, like they all looked like they're like Tua that first game. He got up, he couldn't even, like he was wobbling and all this stuff. And then that other hit on Thursday was the same thing. So now it just like, now it looks like they're trying to be more cautious now. So it's like, as soon as you see that a player hit his head off the ground, they're like, all right, no, we got to pull him out. Concussion protocol. That's it. We're going to taking him out. So now they're like overdoing it.
Well, I didn't even see the Hoyer hit. I still haven't seen it, so I don't know what happened.
It was barely. I mean, they replayed it, and it was barely him. I mean, he got the sack, he went down, and his head did hit the ground, but that was it. I mean, he didn't get up wobbling. He didn't all the stuff. I mean, really, yeah, they pulled him off to the side. They could have looked at him, and then all of a sudden they were taking him in the back. So like, they went from where it was like with the other one, it was all right, well, whatever, let's keep going. He's fine. To now it's like, all right, we got to take this more caution here. Let's take him back, and we'll just pull him out of the game. So
that was a heck of a game.
You know what? For having our third string quarterback coming in there and first time playing, he didn't look that bad. I mean, there was a couple times I was like, but I'm like, for being thrown into a game, having no
going up against Aaron Rodgers, yeah,
up against Green Bay's defense too, which was decent, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like, but I mean, they kept that game close, so I was not upset with them losing that game because of the whole situation. So I was like, all right, I mean, hey, we lost by 3 points. We went into overtime. So I'm like, I'll take that. It was a good sign. Now we got Detroit this week, so
hopefully you can score enough points to keep up with them, which shouldn't be a problem. All right, staying on the sports for a little bit longer. I want to get Greg on his soapbox here. So, Greg, earlier tonight, Aaron Judge hit his 62nd home run, setting an all-time American League home run record.
Yes, I saw that. I heard.
The floor is yours.
Actually, I have no problem with Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is a huge guy, all right? And this guy has been hitting home runs like that since the beginning of his career. And I've got no problem with it. Now, I have a friend who's a Yankees fan, and he can't stand Aaron Judge. I don't know why. He said that he thinks that Aaron Judge is going to fall apart in the postseason anyway. But, like I said, I have less of a problem with him setting that record than when Barry Bonds broke the home run record. I have less of a problem with that. I mean, Barry Bonds, there was always the issue of the performance enhancing drugs, but Aaron Judge, you don't hear that about. I have no problem with it. I mean, these records are eventually going to get broken. Like you said before, Brian, these athletes are bigger, they're stronger, they're in better shape. It's going to happen. So I'm not a Yankees fan, that. I'm a Mets fan, but I've got no problem with it. I think it's great.
I guess my problem's been with, it seems like the media, like them cutting into the at-bats to tie the record. And, tonight they're making a big deal of it, but really for the last 2 weeks, they've been making a whole hoopla about Aaron Judge. And I have a lot of Yankee fans on Facebook, so you're constantly seeing it. And I think, what happened in the late 90s, early 2000s with McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds, MLB, ESPN, they all benefited from that. Even the newspapers back then, they all benefited from that and kind of turned a blind eye to steroids and performance-enhancing drugs and Balco. And now they kind of want to like almost like a soap opera, like make believe that never happened, and us to have some sort of amnesia and think, oh, Aaron Judge is setting the home run record.
Right. Well, but the things that I have seen, you notice that they're prefacing it with he set the American League home run record. They're not saying like he broke this record for the whole league. So I mean they're not discounting the whole Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire thing, but they're kind of putting that on a back burner and focusing more on the American League. I think saying that he set this American League record, this record that's been there for years. So, but I know what you're saying. And I agree. You don't. But I mean, that's always been like you said, as long as they're going to profit from it, they're gonna make a big deal out of the whole Aaron Judge thing because they're going to get money for it. So
they were doing the same thing with Pujols, with his waiting to get his 700th or whatever.
700th.
So, I mean, they kept bouncing in out of that. Yeah, see, with the Judge thing, I thought it was for the MLB home run record. So every time they'd call, I'm like, oh, and then they're like, and then someone was like, no, it's just for like the Yankees and the American. I was like, oh. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'm like, all right. So, but I mean, yeah, it's a record that's been there for a long time. So I could see them why they're doing that. But yeah, I mean, really, if you're a non-Yankee fan, you don't really whatever. But it's like
the way they were treating it. I mean, all time when he broke or when he tied Maris, he was tying him for I think 7th or 6th place.
Yeah,
on the all-time single season mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not breaking news.
Mm-mm.
That doesn't deserve cutaways during a college football game in September.
Right, but this is the Yankees. It's a making machine, and of course, and
it's another reason why to hate the Yankees.
But yeah, I mean, there's probably more Yankees fan than any other baseball team out there. So of course they're gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
All right. But we can all agree we're not impressed.
Yeah.
But congratulations to Aaron Judge.
Yeah, there we go. Good for him.
Yeah, like I said, I've got nothing against Aaron Judge. You never hear anything bad about him. You never hear any scandals. You never, he's not Derek Jeter, and I have nothing but respect for Derek Jeter. Jeter was never getting himself in trouble or anything, but Aaron Judge, man, like I said, I've got no problem with it. These records are going to get broken. These athletes are bigger, they're better, and it's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't have any issue with Aaron Judge. He seems like a really nice guy, a great guy. But my problem is more with the media and Yankees fans on Facebook. All right. Some sad news this week. We lost a pioneer rapper, Coolio. He finally went on the final fantastic voyage to the other world. Any particular memories for you guys about Coolio, Fantastic Voyage?
Nothing that sticks out. It was played a lot when I was in college. When I was in college, they played. It was like the late '90s, right? So towards the end of my that's when that was out. Of course, I remember it. And they used to play it all the time, but I don't have any special memories about from Coolio.
Yep, nope, me either.
Well, Gary, I remember Fantastic Voyage was popular the summer after high school, and I remember that being on every 15 minutes when we aimlessly drove around the Mid Valley and Valley View area at night looking for trouble. On the top 9 at 9.
Yeah.
The top 9 at 9.
Remember that, Greg?
And Loretta Lynn passed away today.
No, really?
Yeah. You don't know who Loretta Lynn is?
I've heard the name, but I'm not really a huge country music fan or whatever you call that.
Sure, but that's more of a legend than Coolio is. People might not agree with that, but yeah, that's.
But yeah, I mean, she's very influential.
Speaking of some other legends, this week I watched. Well, Greg, I doubt you watched it because again, you have no power. But I watched Blonde with Jill this weekend. Gary, have you had a chance to watch it?
No. No, I mean, for the
what the hell were you doing, Gary?
All day Wednesday was watching Weather Channel. That was my whole Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, we didn't watch anything. We were just cleaning up all the stuff we had to put up and all that. So I haven't really had a chance to watch any TV.
Have you guys heard anything about Blonde?
I was just gonna say I don't want to sound old and I was blonde.
So it's a Netflix movie about Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll watch. My wife loves Marilyn Monroe, so I'm sure we'll watch it at some point. So.
I think you'll enjoy it for the psychological aspects of it, and
Oh, nice.
we'll be able to. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a beautiful film as far as like how it's shot. Anna de Armas, who plays Marilyn Monroe, is beautiful. It's troubling. It's a little heavy to watch at certain points. But I think it was, and I know a lot about, I guess I've read a biography of Marilyn Monroe's, and I've also read a biography of Joe DiMaggio's. So I feel like I have some background on her life, but like I'm not like all up to date on everything that she, did. So I think there's a lot of license taken with parts of the movie. So it's kind of hard to know what was fiction and what was nonfiction, or what was interpreted and what was not. So that's probably, a conversation for another day. But
no, like I said, the Weather Channel, and then that one day when I sent you that thing, because all of a sudden my TV, I went to turn it on, and the main screen pops up where all my apps are, and at the bottom I see a 3-box picture of Brian, me, and Lisa, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I have YouTube on my TV, and I click it, and there we are, sitting there on my big TV. I'm watching this, so that I did watch something. I watched parts of our episodes on YouTube.
But you prefer Joe Cantor to Marilyn Monroe?
Well, no, I was really good. I just want to know where the storm was going.
Yeah.
Care less about Marilyn Monroe at that time.
It was actually funny because Jim Cantori got hit by a tree branch when he was doing it.
Oh, so, is he okay?
I'm sure he is. But
he got whacked good. It was.
All right, one other net. I think it's on Netflix. Dahmer, the series about the Gary's shaking his head. Now, Greg, I think this came out before Hurricane Ian landed in Coral Gables?
Cape Coral.
No. Cape Coral.
Yes.
My Coral on the other side.
Yeah, I know. And that's Miami. Have either of you watched or heard anything about Dahmer? Gary, you're shaking your head.
I haven't watched it, but every kid in my school has been talking about Dahmer all week. That's all I hear is Dahmer this. They're like, "Oh, have you watched?" I'm like, "No, I haven't watched Dahmer." And then they're you should watch it, Gary, and then you could bring some of Dahmer's tactics maybe to the classroom. Maybe that's why they're asking, because they probably think I'm like a Dahmer. I was like, you know what?
You don't have any like skeletons hanging in your classroom, do you?
No, I should.
Not for math. Okay.
Yeah, I have not seen it. That's right up my alley, though. I'd probably watch that.
That's another like psychological like.
Yeah, but I did see about a year ago. We were flipping through the Netflix channel, and not Netflix, one of the Roku channels or something, and they actually had a Dahmer movie, and the star of the movie, the guy who played Dahmer in the movie. Now, you guys have kids. Have they watched the Disney Channel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember Austin and Ally, the TV show?
No.
There's the kid who plays Austin. His name is Ross Lynch, and he plays Jeffrey Dahmer in this movie. So it's kind of a stretch for him from Disney to, well, maybe not, but from Disney to Dahmer, you know. But it was all right. It was interesting to watch, but.
Okay, I know the kid. Yeah, I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Gary, you know what you should do?
What's that?
You should get a pork chop and put it in like the corner of your closet in your classroom.
Okay.
And then as the smell starts to build, the kids will start coming in and be going, "Oh, Mr. McDaniel, your classroom stinks."
They say that now.
Just say, "Yeah, it's some pork chops."
Okay. No, they say that now. Yeah. They
Just
complain
drop pork chop tomorrow in your class and see how crazy the kids go.
Maybe I'll dress up as Dahmer for Halloween.
There you go. All right, and finally, I think this is also on Netflix. Hocus Pocus 2 is out.
No,
Does anyone care?
Disney Plus.
Oh, that's on Disney Plus. Gary, have you seen that?
No,
I don't care, but I probably will see it. I'm sure. I think my wife was a fan of the first one, and my daughters will probably want to see it. So
yeah, my wife, and then that's the same thing with the Dahmer thing too, because that's right up Shannon. She loves all those shows, so she usually watches all those Netflix documentaries about serial killers and all that. So I'm sure I'll be watching that, and I'm sure we'll be watching Hocus Pocus at some point as well. And I'll just squeeze blonde in there then too. So, squeeze a blonde in.
I can't stand Bette Midler anymore.
what did you see Hocus Pocus 2 already, or just
No, I've not seen a Hocus or a Pocus. I'm Hocus Pocus free.
You never seen the first one?
No.
All right. First one was good. I mean,
yeah,
but I don't know how they're, I thought they killed them at the end of that one, but whatever.
All right. One other question, then we'll get to Gary's News of the Weird. Do either of you guys would you know about bet?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that?
Yeah. You have a stroke?
Yeah. All right. I'm good. Would either of you guys ever try doing a stand-up comedy routine for 5 minutes?
I don't have a fear of public speaking, so yeah, I would probably do it.
Yeah, if I'm prepared, I would do it. If not, like I can't. Now the brewery I go to, Soggy Bottom, every Thursday now they do a open mic night. So I mean, if I was prepared, I'd maybe get up there and do something. But if it was like one of those things where I'm there and they're like, "Oh, here, get up and do something," I'm like, I don't know if I could just do it like right off the cusp like that. So, but yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I do karaoke, so.
Yes. So I was very into like stand-up comedy, like almost studying it. The end of 2019 into 2020, and I had gone to a like open mic stand-up night at the old Holiday Inn. I don't know what it's called now in Dunmore.
Up there.
And I showed up the 1 week. I thought they were going to be there, and they weren't. And I was like ready to go. I had my stuff prepared. I was going to it was one of my like New Year's resolutions for 2020.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And then the following week, everything shut down for COVID. So I haven't done it, but I've been kind of. I think that's still something I want to do at least once, and I think it would be just as exhilarating to bomb as it would to like kill.
No, I mean because we try to avoid it when we go up there if we know what's going on. So we'll either sit outside or we go over next door to the other place and we'll hang out there and wait. Because the one time I was standing there getting a beer, and the couple of people that were up, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so bad." The one guy was just like, I was cringing because it was just, he was so racist. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm like, I can't be standing here. I'm like, just some of the stuff he was saying. I was like, I'm like looking around the crowd. I'm like, okay, just a bunch of older people. All right. They're all white. All right. Okay. All right. He's not going to get killed. So I'm like, all right. But yeah, some of them are just real bad. Oh, I'm like, okay. I mean, so I might be able to do pretty good there though.
Now, the one I went to that I didn't participate in, there were two of them that were really good. One of them, I think she was actually there like working on stuff. Like she was really good.
Okay.
And then there was another guy who was very funny, like before he went on stage. Like he was cracking jokes, like as we were all just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
He was talking to everybody, and then he went on stage, and it just like something came over him, and he was not funny at all. You can literally see him like freeze up.
Oh, geez.
And he went from like this just real cool, funny guy to just like Mr. Awkward. And it was like that. It was like hard to watch. It was like, oof.
Well, let me, Brian. What would your material be? Would it be like bad dad jokes? Would it be like?
So, part of it was about high school. My experience in high school. I'm not going to get too into it because it's not maybe appropriate.
We don't want to ruin your act.
What's that? I didn't hear you. Cut out.
I said we don't want to ruin your act.
Yeah. So there was a bit about high school. Another part about like coaching girls softball and kind of giving players names I could remember because it seems like every girl's name starts with a K or a C sound. So I would give them like 70s girls' names. So you'd have like Jennifer and Amy and Christine and Nicole and, Allison, whatever. See, Gary's laughing. That's funny. And then what else? One was like trying to go to bed and going to bed at night, like when the whole house is quiet. Like kind of like going through the hall, feeling with your hands like a cat feels with its whiskers and stuff. So I thought I had at least 5 minutes.
Hey, that's all you need, right? Is 5 minutes up there, right?
That's all it is.
That's it.
And like I said, if I bombed, it would be almost like I said, it would be as thrilling to like review and be like, how did I bomb? What was so bad about it?
Yeah.
But it's probably just a rush of being up there. You know what I mean? Like just being in front of all those people.
Yeah, I think the part would be to like control your breathing, control your sweating and act like you belong up there or you've been up there before, especially the first time.
Right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gary, you ready?
Let's rock and roll.
It's that time for Gary's News of the Weird with your host, Gary Porkchop McDaniel.
Yes.
All right. Always working hard in the newsroom. We go to Gary McDaniel.
Yes, sir. As soon as an advertisement stops flowing here, we'll be good to go. Seriously, now you're going to do this to me?
Got to pay the bills, Gary.
Oh, come on. What is this baloney? Seriously? Oop. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, here we go. So sticking with our theme for today, rescuers flock together to save 275 parrots stranded by Ian. So Pine Island, Florida, Will Pertino and his partner, Lauren Stepp, would not leave their Pine Island compound, even as authorities pleaded with residents to abandon their homes because of damaged roads, including a collapsed bridge that prevented deliveries of food, gas, and other life-sustaining supplies. But the couple could not leave without their 2 lemurs and flock of birds, 275 parrots, including some of the world's rarest. So a rescue mission dubbed Operation Noah's Ark was launched Tuesday to catch, cage, and ferry the birds off the island as a condition to persuade Pertino and Stepp to leave the island. We would not abandon them. I would never leave them. Never, said Stepp, as volunteers worked on collecting the flock from dozens of coops at the Malma Mau Sanctuary. If they cannot be fed or watered, they will die, and I can't live with that. Malama is a Hawaiian word for protect. Mamu means bird. The birds have been relying on food donated by wildlife officials since Hurricane Ian hit, but the supply of fruit, peanuts, and other edibles would soon be hard to come by because of the downed bridge and the scarcity of gasoline on the island. Hurricane Ian battled southwest Florida a week ago with 150-mile-per-hour gusts, making some roads impassable and island inaccessible. Wind-driven rains and ocean surges brought damage, flooding.
How much money are these two guys spending on these birds for food?
Yeah.
Like if
Is
they
it two
can't-
guys?
Yeah. I thought it was two guys, wasn't it?
Oh no, it's Will Pertino and Lauren Stepp. It said partner, but
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought. But anyway, I mean, if the county can't feed these birds, they're running short on food and everything. How much were these guys spending on bringing food in there for these birds?
yeah. They said they had two llamas too. So I mean, that's a lot of animals in that joint.
Now something interesting came up today at dinner. We were talking about Thanksgiving, and we're
Parrot is not good.
so looking forward to parrot stuffing, but thanks for the tip, Chef Greg. No, we typically go to my sister-in-law Laura's house, and she has a bird, and my mother-in-law has a terrible fear of birds. Like if you drive through the giant parking lot when it's like covered with seagulls, she'll like go berserk. And she was can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And she was saying last year they let their bird out. They have like a little bird.
Like a parakeet type thing?
It's like it's not like as big as a parakeet, I don't think. I don't know how big a parakeet is. I don't know what it is. But they let the bird out and it was like flying like right across our faces. And like my mother-in-law said for like 2 days afterwards, she was like, didn't feel well because her heart was like racing with this bird out and about. You guys don't have any birds.
Bird flu. No, we don't.
Nope.
No. Bird people are a different kind of person, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, and our last story, which most likely you've all seen before. Hurricane Ian street shark video defies
Street
belief.
shark.
Photos.
Yes, I have seen that.
Have you seen that one? So photos and videos of sharks and other marine life swimming in suburban floodwaters make for popular hoaxes during massive storms. But a cell phone video filmed during Hurricane Ian's assault on southwest Florida isn't just another fish story. The eye-popping video, which showed a large dark fish with sharp dorsal fins thrashing around in inundated Fort Myers backyard, racked up more than 12 million views on Twitter within a day, as users responded with disbelief and comparisons to the Sharknado film series. Dominic Camerata, a local real estate developer, confirmed he filmed the clip with his back patio Wednesday morning when he saw something flopping around in the neighbor's flooded yard. I didn't know what it was. It just looked like a fish or something, he told the Associated Press. I zoomed in and all of my friends are like, it's a little shark, man. He guessed the fish was about 4 feet in length. Experts were of mixed opinion on whether the clip showed a shark or another large fish. George Burgess, former director of the Florida Museum of Natural History's shark program, said in an email that it appears to be a juvenile shark, while Dr. Neil Hammerschlag, director of the University of Miami's Shark Conversation program, wrote that it's pretty hard to tell. Nevertheless, some Twitter users dubbed the hapless fish the street shark.
Now, was that doctor's name Hammershark or Hammerschlag?
It was Hammerschlag.
Okay. Just checking on that. Did you guys see the story about the two fishermen that loaded up their walleyes with like fish weights to win the fishing contest?
And other fillets, I guess. Yeah, they were shoving stuff inside of it. Yep. And I guess they've done that multiple times, they were saying. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess the judges decided to like open the fish, and all these weeds came out.
Yeah. They had all this lead inside them.
Have you guys ever had walleye?
No.
Delicious.
I don't know if I have or not.
It's like a northern fish. It's from like the Great Lakes in Canada.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just don't know if I've ever.
I actually had it in Michigan last summer.
Okay.
I think it was Michigan. Very good.
And that is news of the weird.
So it's been about 2 weeks since I got my haircut buzzed. So it's like just starting to grow in. And I'm afraid it's starting to look like I'm maybe getting like hair plugs or something.
It's been a couple. It's been a few months since I actually got a haircut. So
I just got my Ian cut last night. We're sitting around the house looking, and I said to my daughter, I'm like, why don't we grab the clippers? You could shave my head. So
Now, is that one number all around?
no, it's one on the side, ½ inch on the top, right? Yeah.
I used to do one on the side and back, and then a 5 on top. That was my go-to for a while there.
Yeah, I don't know if the 5 is like the ½ inch or whatever, but that's what I would do too.
That's,
One
I
on the
mean,
side.
looking at it, it kind of looks, yeah, that's pretty much what my hair, kind of what I used to do.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know what to do.
Let it go.
It doesn't look like hair plugs. It doesn't look like hair plugs.
Yeah, I think it's my camera not giving it the proper.
You just got those. See, mine, I have these wings like that. They flow out, and I get these like. That's the only thing that's annoying with the long hair, but because wearing glasses, that's what happens. So I haven't had this much hair since probably ever. I don't think even when I was younger, I don't think I had this.
I don't think since I've known you, you've had
no.
hair that long.
I've always had it. I've always like Greg's the way his hair is cut. That's how I always did it. And then I started parting back to the side again. So I was like, all right. So then I was getting just the one on the back and the sides, and the top would just be short enough to where I could just kind of cut it, and it would just flow this way a little bit and just be a little bit on top. But I mean, I said, like, I noticed Shannon took a picture the other day because I didn't have my hair combed the right way, and when she did it, you could see where it almost looked like a comb over. I didn't realize that I was losing so much up top here because I can't see it. So I was like, oh, I may have to go back to my buzz cut again. We're looking like you.
All right, I posted, I think it was today, about the second week of my gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gary, did you read it?
I glanced at it.
What part did you glance at?
Well, I opened it up and I just scrolled through it. So
Did you see your name?
So it makes it look like I read it. Because that when you said I just got to open it up and just kind of scroll through it, and it counts as. No, I didn't. I didn't read it.
You didn't see your name.
I seen a picture. That was it.
Yeah.
Do I need to read it?
Well, you can if you want. I wrote a little bit about you, Jay, and Lisa in our group chat.
Oh, okay.
So.
You know what? I did read it. One more thing I would advise you to add to your list if you've never done it, and I'm sure Gary has done this because Gary is a beer drinker. You were talking about the warm shower. There is nothing better than taking a warm shower and bringing a cold beer in there with you when you take the warm. It's
really
like hot water running on your body and then the cold beer in your throat.
I almost bought one of those things that suction cups to the wall to hold your beer. But I didn't. So
actually thinking about tomorrow, since I don't have hot water, I have to take these cold showers. I'm thinking about bringing my coffee.
Just go reverse.
there you go. Cold shower, hot cocoa.
There you go.
Yeah, just like the opposite.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, when did you get into warm shower, cold beer?
That was something we used to. I found that out when I was in college. When I was living at college, because when you're in college, you don't have a lot of money, so you pregame. You drink before you go out to the clubs and to the bars.
Yep.
You're getting ready. You're taking a shower. Take a beer in with you.
Yeah.
I've never tried that.
Do it. I'm telling you, it's.
I've done it once or twice.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah.
I'm interested now. I definitely will try that. That's interesting.
I've done it a few times, like on a Saturday or Sunday, getting ready. Yeah, like getting ready to go out somewhere or something like that.
Well, the week before, I was thankful for the Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening shower of getting ready and the anticipation of what's to come. So, all right, so maybe I'll have to try that. Might be its own little post on the Brian Lennon Show Substack.
There you go.
All right, I think that's pretty much everything I want to cover. Just to let everyone know, Substack now has an app for the Android. So if you have an Android, you can download the Substack app on your phone. So you'll be able to listen to the podcast as well as read everything I write.
They have one for
Gary, you want to get your plug in for the other podcast?
Yeah, actually, this Thursday we will be live in Dunedin. Dunedin's brewery they're having their 22nd anniversary or 22nd annual Oktoberfest. So we will be having our live show Thursday night.
Now, will there be girls in Oktoberfest dress?
You know what? I'm trying to think. There was, I think, a few last year when we went.
Are you guys fans of Oktoberfest dress?
Yeah, it's not bad. A lot of cleavage.
I carrying lederhosen, and I could see, I could see Gary playing the whole Chevy Chase part when they from European Vacation.
That is fantastic. Yeah, I didn't even think that. I don't have lederhosen. I should look up and see if I can get some from
Amazon.
I do have a kilt.
Yeah.
So
you do have a kilt.
I do have a kilt. Yes.
Wow. Is it your family plaid? Is it like the McDaniel plaid?
So no, when we got them, we decided to do. It was the Soggy Bottom Brewery. They had a beer Olympics one year, and we decided our group was going to be. Our name was Pipes and Kilts, or Kilts and Pipes. So we got kilts. We had pipes and everything, and we were smoking. We had a T-shirt that had bagpipes on it that just said "Blow Me." So that's what we wore, and we were out there. And so what we got was there were the utility kilt. So it's all black, but on the end, there's a part that's kind of cut to the side and it has the tartan, but it was just the green and blue. So no, my color. Well, I mean, I do have those colors are in my, but then I think I have some red and stuff in mine as well. So.
And the kilt you pack for your European vacation this coming March?
I don't know if I'm going because it's so thick and heavy that we can only take so much with us. So I'm I don't know.
Wear it on the plane.
I could just wear it. Yeah.
Gary, I have to ask.
While I'm up there.
Yeah. They have to do if TSA has to do a strip search, man. You're all set.
They're good to go.
Gary, I have to ask. Did you wear anything under the kilt?
You got to wear it proper, right? So, proper wearing of a kilt, you don't wear anything underneath. So,
all right.
No, I had a little tiny short, I had little underwear on. I did. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Little underwear on.
Little underwear. So, Substack Reader, is that the? So that's the app that's on Apple. I see Substack Reader. So I guess Apple doesn't.
Yeah, they already had one for Apple, but me being an Android owner, they just launched it today. But yeah, Substack has an app on Apple as well.
This is the one that I see that. Damn it! I can't.
Yeah, it looks right. That looks about right.
Substack Reader. All right, I'll have to download it.
We originally were going to do a domestic violence awareness podcast today, but with everything that happened in South Florida with Greg and stuff, we have decided to postpone it. So maybe at some point this month we'll get you back on, Greg.
Listen, I'm more than willing to come on and talk to you guys. I love talking to you guys. It's been a while. Well, it's been a month.
Once you have power.
Yeah.
We might not. You never know. We'll see. If we have electricity, we could do it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining
Yes.
the Brian Lennon Show podcast.
You betcha.
We're going to get some music going. We will see everyone again next week. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And watch your lederhosen.
Peace out.